We want to give an update to a story that we reported back in April of 2018. Now, we'll post the link in the pinned comment so you can watch the original report that we conducted on this channel. So the sister in that particular video at the time period was at a Waffle House, and she asked for utensils, and they told her, oh, you're going to have to pay 50 cents for it. And she was like, huh, paying 50 cents? Like, why am I going to pay for utensils? And I've been to the Waffle House in the past, and they don't really make you pay for anything like that, but each franchise is a little different than others. So she was just questioning that. The white woman doing what a lot of times they would do to black people, calling police on black people. And the police came in there. They were so egregious. They were so brutal that they brought the sister down and even ripped her top off in front of everybody in this particular Waffle House. Now, after that, many people was very, very upset to see, that particular scene with those cops. So a year later, it said that she was found not guilty of disorderly conduct that led to an Alabama Waffle House, and we talked about the call of police on her, but she still faces 1 year probation in an encounter. Chikesia Clemons was also sentenced to 6 months in jail Wednesday, but that was a suspended sentence. She was still ordered to pay $500 in court costs after being found guilty of resisting arrest. Now, the Clemons case sparked a national effort to boycott the restaurant after footage of the incident went viral. Advocates in Clemons' case as an example of what police brutality against black women look like is what a lot of people stated, because yeah, it was utterly wrong. We don't see no police ripping off no white woman's, clothes like that in front of everybody, but they can just do this to black women. It's utterly wrong, and it comes from them calling the police. Now, initially, she was found guilty of both charges on her, but an appeal trial judge tossed out the disorderly conduct charge in a court decision on August the 24th. Her defense attorney was happy with the judge tossing out that charge, but he filed a motion to challenge the resisting arrest charge. Now, it's a handbrake hasn't ruled on that motion, so sentencing stands today, according to what the reports are. Now, Clemons told Teen Vogue in April that she had a hard time finding work because of the incident, so she set up a GoFundMe, and it surpassed $25,000 by more than $300. She said she lost her job. She hasn't had a job in almost a year because no one would hire me due to this national pending case that deals with racism and discrimination. It has had an enormous effect on her. She also stated that she deals with PTSD and depression, and that she has days that she feels not good enough. Say that I feel like I just want to disappear sometimes, put me in an emotional state, a physical strain, a mental strain on me. So think about that. You're being victimized by the race soldiers. You having your clothes ripped off when your breast is being exposed in front of everybody. Then you get charged when the police did this to you, okay? Then you can't even get a job for a year. Now, this is when black-owned businesses are supposed to step up and say, hey, sister, I can give you a job. That's in your area. Since it was national, that means it shouldn't be no problem with her to get a job. See, it's one thing for everybody to be like, oh, that's wrong. Oh, that's this. Okay, it's wrong, but come in and say, I will hire you. That's when you step in and circumvent the evil that's done. Because how many times I've told you, racism, white supremacy, y'all clicked in. Why would it be hard for her to have a job? Why? Why would it be hard for her? I wouldn't have a problem if I had a business having her there. Like, what's the problem with it? They're not going to scare off your customers. It's not. But these businesses, they all click in with each other. That's why we got to have more businesses. And we have to support these businesses. And we have to come in and hire people like this who need a job. He lives in Alabama, so the cost of living in Alabama is not as high as it would be in a lot of places. So hopefully someone there can step up in the community and give their sister a job, because she's dealing with a lot of mental issues right now. See, that is traumatic, what she dealt with. And see, when we deal with all this trauma, no one wants to talk about the mental health of black people. They talk about the mental health of everybody else. You mentioned Connor, Dylan, everything else. After he done killed about 30 folks, You want to talk about his mental health when most of them are just evil. But black folks go through some true victimization in this nation. And we never discuss the mental health of black people. We have mental health professionals in our community, and yet they aren't being talked to as they should be. Some black folks still, they can go talk to Pastor Porkchop like he don't know nothing. You need to talk to someone who has expertise in mental health issues, because we deal with that every day. Just being black in America, you can deal with mental health issues. I'm telling you from my personal self, my best way to deal with issues that I may have living in America, especially doing this show, which puts a lot of strain on me mentally to do this show, to do these videos, because I can relate to her. I can relate to this sister because she could be my sister, she could be my cousin, she could be my aunt or whoever else. She could be my child or whatever. She can be all that. When I see something happen to a brother, same thing. It could happen to any of us. So constantly seeing this day in and day out, it has a mental strain on me, because I pay attention to more things than most black folks do due to me doing these stories constantly. I'm looking into these stories. I'm saying, okay, what did happen? How did they do this to them? Whatever. And try to make sure I don't put myself in any kind of position where they can take advantage and try to do something to me. That's how I'm thinking constantly. That's why I cannot wait until this Kenya trip, because for me, going to Africa gives me a mental break from this society. And when I come back, I usually come back recharged. Like last year, I went to Ethiopia. I was really, really mentally just zoned out. I just could not deal with things. I went there, got recharged, came back to Babylon, and then I was good to go. So I figured it out from last year. I got to go to the continent at least once a year, hopefully more than that, but at least once, so I can just get a recharge and then come back and deal with these issues and problems. So I can understand when she stated that she has PTSD and depression. I get it, because a lot of black Americans have depression. A lot of black Americans have PTSD because of the system that we live in. But leave me a comment, let me know what you think about the situation with our sister. But this is what racism and white supremacy do to black people. But people like Candace Owens say white supremacy isn't one of the number one factors. Talking about fatherless households. That's quite comical.